Yes, it is. But I feel fine. Hi, and welcome to the very first introductory episode of Current Christian Commentary News with Pastor Steve. I'm your host, Pastor Steve. I hope you'll subscribe weekdays, Monday through Friday, as we will take just a few minutes of your day to highlight the things that are happening around the world involving religion and politics. Those of you that live in southern Arizona or know anything about me know that I used to have a somewhat popular radio show. Well, this is the video version and the condensed version at that. So we're going to talk about a plethora of different things as the coming weeks. We will talk obviously a lot about the upcoming elections. Right now we've got four front runners. On the Democratic side, we have a socialist who is a communist who wants to give everything away for free. And most of you know there is no free lunch. I don't know how anybody in their right mind, and certainly I don't know how any Christian can justify voting for a Democrat. Years ago, I actually voted for a Democrat, Bob Casey, running for governor. He was a pro-life governor in Pennsylvania, and he was running against a pro-abortion Republican opponent. That's about the only time I ever voted for a Democrat. Some of you folks that call yourself Christians and vote for these pro-death candidates, I just don't get it. But that's not the topic of today's show. Today is just an introductory. We want to say hi. We want to encourage you to subscribe and get your friends to do the same. All of this information will be available on this YouTube channel and, of course, on our Facebook pages. Right now, we got four candidates. The front runners, as I speak, today is Monday, April 1st, April Fool's Day. I didn't even think about it. Well, this is not an April Fool. Had I thought about it in a little advance, I might have done something a little different to surprise you. But this is actually our very first. This is the launch of our maiden voyage, and I hope you'll stay with us in the weeks to come. Four candidates right now. Bernie Sanders, the socialist slash communist who wants to give everything away for free. I saw what do they call them now? Memes. It's a picture with some words on it that said, there's actually free cheese in a mousetrap. And that's about the way I feel about Bernie Sanders supporters. They're either stupid or they think we are, because they're just not thinking through the whole idea of socialism, which has never worked in the history of our world. Capitalism certainly has its problems, but socialism leads to communism. It leads to more and more confiscation of your money. It's your money. Uh, Hillary Clinton, certified, bona fide liar. This woman will do or say anything to stay in power. As a matter of fact, some of you may be familiar. Back in 2006, I wrote my autobiography called "There Will Be No Rescue." Let me just read just a short passage from this book, one little paragraph from my autobiography, "There Will Be No Rescue." I wrote this back in 2006, but the words ring truer today than they did back when I wrote it, which was actually 2004, 2005. This book was published in 2006, and it's available on Amazon.com, or I think if you go to my website, Steve Aiken, AIKEN.com, you can get it there. But let me just read you from page 152. I believe that hard financial times are getting ready to befall the United States, and I hope it's in our belly for one last freedom fight. We're there, folks. Hard financial times are getting ready to befall the greatest country that ever existed in the history of the world, and I don't think it's in our belly for one last freedom fight. Democrats, going off script here a little bit, but Democrats hate the Constitution of the United States. Let me say that again. Democrats, especially the Democrat that we have in the White House right now, and the two front-running leaders for the presidency, hate the Constitution of the United States. Why do they hate it? Because it limits the power of government and ensures that the power stays in the hands of the people. No wonder these elites like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama want to scale back, change, and make the Constitution of the United States irrelevant. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Let me get back to my book, though. After that, just as we are seeing the radical homosexuals win at almost every level, soon the progressives like Hillary Clinton Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Charles Schumer of this world will eventually gain power, and believe me, when they get it, when they do, with the help of the mainstream media, they will never give it up. They all use Saul Alinsky's playbook. Democrats like Pelosi, Schumer, Clinton, and Obama are consummate appeasers when it comes to the enemies of the United States. Oh my goodness. They have no problem fighting to maintain their own power or the use of military force globally when it suits their end game. Don't have time to get into it today, but man, I hit the nail on the head back in 2006. Don't be surprised if you find a liberal president one day suggesting the use of military power to accomplish an end to progressive means. Currently, they will do or say anything to occupy the White House again. In our short 230 plus year history, we have gone from allowing the selfless to the selfish run our country into the ground. Politicians with integrity are now the exception rather than the rule. Once again, from my book, There Will Be No Rescue, written in 2006. So let's talk a little bit about the frontrunners as I speak on the Republican side. I'm not a Republican, but like I said, I don't have any idea how anyone could ever vote for a Democrat and call themselves Christian. Just the pro-life movement or the pro-abortion stance alone is enough to persuade my vote. But regardless, you've got two guys on the Republican side right now, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. They are the leading candidates on the Republican side. You got a guy by the name of John Kasich, who's governor of Ohio. I actually met Mr. Kasich a few times back when he was a congressman, and I used to work in Washington, D.C. Nice enough guy, but doesn't have a snowball's chance in you know what. So let's talk a little bit about Trump. I'm not a Trump fan, especially. I think he will also say anything to get elected. I don't think he has no, as smart as the man is, and he's a smart guy, he has no intellectual grasp of truly about the things that have made this country great. He's benefited greatly from the freedoms and the financial resources of this country, but the man doesn't have a clue when it comes to the social issues. If he became president, do I think it would be the end of the world as we know it? No, I don't necessarily think that. He's smart enough to hold it together. But I just don't like white men speaking with forked tongue. To me, that's Donald Trump. Ted Cruz. Well, Ted Cruz seems to be a man of integrity. He seems to be a believer, a Christian, and I hope that he is. The problem right now is that the Republicans who hate Ted Cruz, the Republicans who pull the strings and push the buttons, they are doing so much damage, rightly or wrongly, deservedly or undeservedly, to ruin Ted Cruz's reputation and spreading all these rumors and lies, and I assume they're rumors and lies, but they're doing so much damage to Mr. Cruz right now that even if he were to beat Donald Trump for the nomination, they're going to see to it that he is not elected. Those of you that are familiar with the Randy Graff campaign back in 2006, and I'm a little bit familiar with it, the same thing happened to Randy Graff. Here was a great guy who was trying to do the right thing, standing up, running for Congress, trying to be a man of his word, and of course the elites rubbed him out and made sure that he did not win the general election back in, I'm going to say 2006, maybe it was 2008, I could be wrong. Anyway, it's time to wrap it up. This is April 1st, 2016. We're going to talk about everything from extinction level events, outer space wormwood asteroids that may crash into the Earth, to the Financial Times, to ISIS. We're going to cover a plethora of topics in our upcoming videos. We'll be here every Monday through Friday about this time. Please subscribe to my channel. Please let the folks, your friends and family know that we literally love you. This is the last great stance that we have to try and save this country. As one famous news commentator says, we are the resistance. So in the name of Jesus, we love you. God bless the United States of America.